There have been talks about the Heavy update for literally like 4 years now. People thinking that this is definitely the next big major update to TF2 and that we're just still sitting and waiting for it after 4 years. But obviously 2020 gave TF2 some new challenges to face. The mass amount of cheating bots and the number of bot fixes Valve put out haven't done much to stop them either. And a lot of people haven't been able to play TF2 pretty much since last year, since the bots have been that bad where they live. So what do Valve work on? Do they carry on working on the Heavy update? That is assuming that there ever was a Heavy update and there was work being put into it. Or do they focus on the more pressing matter at hand and try and tackle the major bot fix in TF2 and get rid of the bots? And this has been something I feel as though the community has been super split over. Which update does TF2 actually need? You have people begging Valve to fix the bots. You also have people begging Valve to also update the Heavy and give them some new weapons and make some changes to the class. So today, I want to discuss which update does TF2 actually need. But before we do that, as always, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you scroll down below and click the button. It would mean a lot. So if Valve were to work on either of these updates, which one would they work on? There's some good reasons for both, but I think for today, let's start with the Heavy update and why that might be the one that some people are saying is far more important. First of all, this has been an update people have been waiting for ever since Jungle Inferno, since it was believed that the Pyro would get the update first and then the Heavy would get his afterwards. And it's been nearly 4 years now. We still haven't had even mumblings of another major update, which is kind of scary. And I think a lot of people have moved past the Heavy update, or some people are over it. But there are a lot of people still clinging to the potential for this update. So unless Valve outright say there is no Heavy update, which they wouldn't ever do because that would be really bad for them, people will be sitting and waiting for this update regardless. Another reason people think the Heavy needs to update more is that he needs a bit of a revamp. Let's be honest. If you look at all of the other classes in the game, there's a lot of different ways that you can play them. They have a few different things they're really good at, but the Heavy doesn't really have that. He's a little bit weak when he's on his own, and there's not a whole lot he could do against a lot of the classes that are in the game right now. Snipers can just destroy him from the other end of the map, even though they can destroy everybody, but Heavies are particularly easy. He's a massive spy target for pretty much any spy in the server. You're going to want to backstab the Heavy. Scouts can just jump all around him. Soldiers can also just jump all around him. Demos really don't have a hard time aiming at him at all. And other Heavies, that's a 50-50 every time. So it feels, as weird as it is to say, it feels like the Heavy needs something that he could use to look after himself. Or another way that he can look after himself. Because without a medic and without the rest of his team around him, he's kind of an easy pick for anybody to get. You know, at least from my very limited understanding of playing the Heavy, I feel like when I'm on my own, I'm very easy to kill. And I think the third reason for actually the Heavy update over the bot fix update is that there would be a lot more new content added into the game. And TF2 hasn't had any particularly new content other than cosmetics and, you know, some contracts for the new Halloween maps and stuff like that, pretty much since Jungle Inferno. We're here hoping that the Heavy update will bring new weapons, new weapon balances, all of that kind of stuff, and that is the new content we're waiting for. Not really too fussed about all of the new cosmetics every time, even though they are cool. So people think TF2 desperately needs this new content and these balance changes and these new weapons and potentially new maps and stuff like that. And that is part of the reason that they think the Heavy update is far more important. But if we move over to the bot update side and why that is a far more important update, there are probably a few more reasons for that. I think I'm more on the side of I think the bots should be fixed first, but I like hearing the argument from both sides. One of the reasons I think the bot update should be the first one to come out is that they're literally overtaking the game right now. Like I said at the start, there have been people who haven't been able to play TF2 since sometime last year because the bots have literally been that bad where they live. Now, a lot of people in Europe might not find the bots to be too bad because we don't seem to have a whole bunch of them here. Some days it is really bad. Some days you barely find any. It's really just like, it's inconsistent where we are. But in some other areas of the world, maybe the more populated TF2 playing areas, you will find that there aren't any days where you don't find any bots. There's just always bots. You might just find less of them one day, but you're still running into them pretty much every game. And that will not be good for the player base of this game. If Valve wants to keep TF2 alive, they can't let the bots carry on for too much longer now. People have put up with this for over a year now, and I think it's about time that Valve make it so a lot of these people who can't play the game can actually come back and enjoy a couple of rounds of this video game. Another reason that I think the bot fix is super important is that any major update that comes out past this point that has the potential to drag in hundreds of thousands of new players, maybe not that many, but a lot of new people, that amazing opportunity for Valve would be completely ruined because they have neglected to fix the biggest problem in TF2 right now. So all of these new players will download the game and be cheated against as soon as they start playing, so they're not going to stick around. Valve would have spent all of this time and money on this major update only to then shoot themselves in the foot at the last bit because they haven't actually made TF2 a game that you can play without a bunch of issues. And my third reason for the bot fix is honestly, it's about time there's been punishments for these bot creators because it's been over a year now and they've just been able to just get away with it. I know in some parts of the world as well, it's been way over a year that this problem's been going on. Doesn't help Valve's case really here at all. Now, obviously, there is a con to having a bot fix update, and that is that there isn't new content in that update, or that there is a chance that there will not be any new content that you can actually talk about and that you can play in that update. But I think that might be a sacrifice that a lot of people are willing to make just to get rid of the bots from the game and be able to play the game normally again. I don't want to keep dying to snipers and always wondering after I die if that person that has just killed me is a bot. And I'm sure a lot of people in TF2 right now can relate to that feeling. So for me, that is why I am more on the side of getting a bot fix update rather than a heavy update. Now, the ideal solution would be to make a big content update like the heavy update and have that bot fix wedged in there as another addition. But when has Valve ever done something like that, or really the way that you should be doing things? If I'm wrong and they do that quite often, then I'm wrong. That's fine. But so far, I can't think of any like really obvious examples. Having both of these updates would be the ideal situation. If any major update comes out in the future that doesn't have even like a partial bot fix that would last for a couple of days or something like that, you've doomed that major update straight away, and Valve will always look at TF2 updates as a massive failure and eventually will just fully give up on it. And that won't be the community's fault. That won't be the people who's playing the game's fault. That would be Valve's own fault for not fixing the bots and then blaming the community or whatever for not wanting to spend money on an update. Why would we spend money on a game we can't play? But anyway, I would like to hear what you guys think. Do you think we need a heavy update more, or do you think we need the bot fix update more? I think this changes quite a lot depending on maybe where you live or what servers you play in. So it's going to be interesting to read the comments of this one. But anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.